All right, welcome back to our short video series on the Holy Week. Today is Monday. I want to go over primarily, solely, the cleansing of the temple. We're going to highlight that for today. I think it's very significant here, right? Yesterday, as he came in as the king through the royal procession and went to the temple, that's not when he does the cleansing, right? That Sunday, Palm Sunday, is about him as the king. Remember that as we go through our own temple experience, we're spoken of as kings and queens and priests and priestesses. So what he's going to do here in day 2 of the Holy Week on Monday is he's going to come back to the temple and he's going to come as the high priest. And as the high priest, he would come in on the Day of Atonement or Yom Kippur and he would cleanse the temple. That's what the high priest does on the Day of Atonement. On the Day of Atonement, you go back into the book of Leviticus, you'll see that, chapter 16, I believe, is possibly 17, I think it's 16. The high priest is going to go, he's going to sacrifice an oxen, and then he's going to sacrifice a goat, and he's going to mix the blood. And he's going to take that blood, he's going to put it on the corners of the altar, on the horns, outside, and then he's going to go throughout the temple. He's going to cleanse the temple. He's going to go into the Holy of Holies and cleanse the Ark of the Covenant. And in fact, he even cleanses the people that are there. And whether that's metaphorical or not, I don't know. But we're going to get back to that when we get to Jesus' trial with Pilate. It's very important. That's going to be a Day of Atonement imagery between Pilate, Barabbas, and Jesus and the people that are there. It'll be very interesting. But here he comes back to the temple as the high priest, and he's going to cleanse it. Here's what it says in Luke chapter 19, in verse 45. And he went into the temple. We got our scripture notes here. He went into the temple and began to cast out them that sold therein and them that bought, saying unto them, It is written, My house is the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves. Remember that term, den of thieves. We've all kind of, burnt that into our minds, that term. And he goes on, and he taught daily in the temple, but the chief priests and scribes and the chief of the people sought to destroy him. This is what we have to remember here. Yesterday, as we talked about the people that were parading him right in and praising him as the king and Hosanna, Hosanna, save us. These are not the same people, right? These are the followers of Christ. Who is it that is going to actually kill Christ and accuse him? It's going to be the elite of the people. It's going to be the chief of the people. It's going to be the Saducees, the high priests, those that are running the temple, the elders and scribes and others that are going to go after Jesus, right? We need to remember that. I think that's an important thing to understand. And he taught daily in the temple, but the chief priest and the scribes and the chief of the people sought to destroy him. These will be the people that are there at the judgment with him, at the trial with Pilate, okay? And they could not find what they might do, for all the people were very attentive to hear him, okay? So the leadership of Jerusalem, which are absolute apostates and absolute, evil, right? They have taken over the religion. They are only looking out for themselves. They are the ones that want to kill Jesus. Now, another point here that I think is interesting to make, I'm going to get back to the den of thieves here in a minute, but if we move over to John 2 here and see what John adds to this, this is actually in a setting here. John has Jesus coming in and cleansing the temple the first year of his 30-year ministry, whereas the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke all have it in the 3rd year. But this could be a ritual. Honestly, this could be a ritual thing for him that he's going in and doing. He may have done it the 1st year and the 3rd year. And in fact, we don't have any writing of this, but maybe he did it the 2nd year too, for all we know, right? But here's what we get in John 2, what he adds in here. He says here in verse 14, and he was found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, right, a whip, he drove them all out of the temple. This is interesting also because that, something that one scholar says is it's interesting because this is kind of like what would be used to be cleansing with blood, right? To be kind of using the motion of the whip to be cleansing with blood. And he poured out the changers' money and overthrew the tables, right? He's not happy with things. And said unto them that sold doves, this is obviously a major statement for Jesus beginning his ministry, to the elites in Jerusalem, to the high priest, the Sadducees, those that run everything, the elders. Hey, I am here and you are making a mockery of this house, of this temple. That's how he starts off his ministry. And he said unto them that sold doves, take these things hence, make not my Father's house an house of merchandise. Now, remember, it's not the money changers that are in charge here. So when we go back and we look at Luke and the Synoptic Gospels, we get that term, hey, my house is the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves. It's not necessarily just the money changers that are the den of thieves. Who is it? It's the elites. It's the high priests, the elders, the Sadducees here. They're the ones who have made it a den of thieves. They're the ones in charge. They're the ones getting the kickback on all of the commerce that is happening here, the merchandise that is happening inside of the temple. This is a major time for them, and they are using the Lord's festival of Passover. The Lord's festival of Passover, which is really looking forward to Christ, to him. And they are using it for major gain, and they're actually using the temple for that gain, right? To become more powerful and rich. And so he's talking about those that are in charge primarily of the temple. And we see this again. He says it is written. Well, we can go back to Jeremiah here and see what Jeremiah, this is at the time of Lehi, and this is how corrupt the temple was at the time of Lehi. People don't realize they were going to kill Lehi because he was preaching about Jesus Christ. That's why they wanted to get rid of him. And you have a major, major apostasy all the way to the core of the temple at this time, right? The temple is completely corrupt. Read Jeremiah. I keep telling people this. Read Jeremiah. You cannot believe what is happening here for the first 20 years, 25 years before Lehi leaves, right? It's astounding how the apostasy that's going on here. We read in verse 9 here, will ye steal, murder, and commit adultery? Right? He's talking to those that are here at the Jews that are here and the priests at the temple. Will ye steal, murder, and commit adultery, and swear falsely, and burn incense unto Baal, and walk after other gods whom ye know not, and come and stand before me in this house, the temple, which is called by my name, and say, we are delivered to do all these abominations? Right? This is the same thing. Are you going to come in here and this merchandise and serve money? Right? It's the same idea saying serve Baal. Money is your idol. And still say everything is okay. In verse 11 in Jeremiah 7, he says, is this house which is called by my name become a den of robbers in your eyes? Behold, even I have seen it, saith the Lord. So what you see here again is Jesus coming in as the high priest, juxtaposed to, as compared to, the high priests that are at the temple that are the real problem. You've got Jesus coming in and saying, I am the real high priest with the real authority here. You are not, and you are making a mockery of my home or of my house, and I am cleansing it from you as the real high priest. And this was what John the Baptist's job was, actually, right? He was supposed to overthrow Jerusalem, overthrow the kingdom of the Jews that was there, not the kingdom of the Romans, but to overthrow the kingdom of the Jews, which is run by the high priests, the Sadducees, the elders, the scribes, etc., right? And that is what Jesus is pushing with here. Now, he's going to do it in a different way, obviously, and he's going to do it through his own death and through humility and sacrifice and etc. But he's acting as the high priest compared to those that are there. And this is important to see because as we move through the week, it is these individuals that he is really ticking off and threatening, these elites in Jerusalem that are going to be the ones that actually have him killed. So Palm Sunday, he comes in as the king, right? The king from the ancient Israelite drama. And Monday, he comes in as the high priest and cleanses the temple as the true high priest would do, similar to what happens on Yom Kippur. Thanks for listening.